Hey guys, so I wanted to kind of talk about something today that I have been struggling with for my entire business, and I've tried everything and nothing has seemed to work for me. Um, but I finally found something after months and months of saying maybe I should do this, maybe I should try that. I finally found something that worked for me. So tracking your business is so important, and this is something that when I first started as a coach, I was kind of like, okay, I can remember who I'm talking to. I can go back through my messages and see like who wanted to commit but didn't really end up going for it, bad timing, whatever. And I thought, okay, well, I can just keep all these people in my head. Not gonna happen, especially the more that you're involved in this business, the more that you have people that you're talking to, and using it to memory is not gonna get you too far. So once I realized that, I started to look into different tracking systems. I YouTubed everything, like literally everything. I tried Excel Word docs. I tried Excel on my computer. I tried Asana. I tried Streak. I tried my email. What else did I do? Oh, then I went to just like pen and paper because like that's my jam when it comes to contacts. Because I like to be able to talk on my computer and do everything on my computer, but not have to switch back and forth through a bunch of screens. So I started doing everything on pen and paper. And then I realized that I had so many sheets everywhere, but it wasn't all organized in one spot. So have I written this person's name down already? I know I've talked to them, but is this the first or second time that, we've talked? And everything was just kind of chaotic. So then I got a 5-subject notebook, and I was like, okay, I watched a video on a 5-subject notebook. I went through that whole thing and had different sections and everything. But what I realized is, one, I ran out of paper in certain sections. There were more sections that I wanted, so I kind of just started like makeshifting half sections. And then when I was like really busy and I thought of something, I would write it down underneath what I was already doing in that section, and then it would get lost. So this whole time, I was thinking to myself, I really want to make a binder. And I've heard people do it, and I'm like, oh, it sounds kind of complicated and like way too over the top. Like, I don't need a binder for everything. But then, I think it was like last week maybe, I was looking at kind of what I was successful at. And it's silly, but all of the classes that I took in high school, all of the classes that I took in college, the ones that I did the best in were the ones that I had an organized notebook, and I could put things in as I went. And so that's what I tried to do, and I started this last week. I know it's not really a long time, but it's already working so well for me. So I just wanted to kind of share how my binder has, how I've kind of figured out all my sections and basically how it works. And one reason why I love this is I can have sporadic thoughts, but every day I can start off with a new sheet of paper. So if I'm thinking of something, I grab a sheet of paper, I write it down, and then I stick it where it needs to go. And that's, I think, what I love about it so much is I can be scatterbrained, and I can be like, oh, I have an idea on this, and oh, I need to add this or whatever. And then I can put it where it needs to go so I don't lose it and it has a place. Instead of flipping back through sections or going on my Excel doc that I never checked because I was always doing other stuff that I never wanted to switch screens or go here, or copy this or edit this, whatever. So this I love so much. So I'm going to share it with you guys, and then hopefully this helps you if you don't have a tracking system yet. I just took one from a binder that I used in college. I took all the sections out and I put them in a folder. So I didn't have to go buy one. I already had dividers at the house, which I think you could probably get from like the dollar store or Walmart or something for maybe, I don't know, $3. I'm making that up, but it's seriously worth the investment. So what I did is I have a big black binder, and it's 1 inch. That's it. I made a dream board or a virtual vision board, and I made it on the computer, and I stuck that, I don't know if you can see it, but I stuck that as my cover. So every day when I go into it, I see that. I'm reminded by my goals. I'm reminded by the things that I, the goals that I have set for myself throughout the week. It's on the front, so I see it every single day. I am constantly running back and forth, so putting it up on the wall somewhere wasn't going to happen for me. And I take this everywhere I go. So there's the front. And then this is how I've determined the sections. So what I do, and you don't have to do this, but I made up when I first started coaching, like I think my first challenge group ever, for everyone who wanted to lose weight and join a group and stay accountable. I made up a sheet so that I could keep track of who they were, what they ordered, when they ordered, the date that I needed to remind them that they're, if they wanted to keep things going or if I wanted to chat with them about something. So what I did is I made up a sheet, and I'm just going to hold it up quick because there are some names on here and stuff. But so it's just challenger, program purchased, purchase date, 3-week date, so I can check in with them, program end date, so if they have a 21-day program, I can go in and write 21 days later than that, so I can check in with them and see, hey, how did it go when it was done? And then at the end, I have a box for people who didn't order that month, and then I can put them in there, and then I have people who have been challengers that I think would make awesome coaches. So I keep that in this section over here so that I'm constantly reminded to keep track of these people and stay on top of them. And then behind that, I printed out the Elite Goal Guide so that I don't lose it and I'm always reminded of it. So every day when I go in and I pull out this challenge group tracker, and potential, people that I've been talking to or whatever who potentially want to join my group in the future. I write all those people down. So when I take that out, I see this in the back. And then I'm reminded every day that that's one of my goals is to help my leaders become leaders and really grow our team this year. So I'm reminded by that every day, and that's in the back. And then I fill that out every month. But obviously because it's January, it's blank right now. So then comes the tabs. There are 8 tabs, and it all came in one pack. And I sat down and I just brainstormed. What are the most important things to me in this business? What are things that I deal with every day? What are things that I constantly want to keep track of, but I don't? And I just wrote down a list on a piece of loose leaf. And then one by one, I kind of just started reorganizing and figuring out, okay, what should go first? What do I want to see every day? What can go in the back that's more private? What is a tab that I can make into one? So I kind of just brainstormed and compiled a list, and then I just threw it all together. So my first one is goals. That's my first tab. You really can't see because it is so sunny in here, which is great because it's January. Okay, so first one's goals. And every Monday, I write down all of my social media and how they've progressed. If I've added new friends, I'll update the number, and I'll just subtract it from the past week. Then I go to my followers on Facebook, and I check how that has progressed. Are there people that are sitting there that I've been trying to connect with, and I haven't accepted their friend requests, things like that. That way, every month, I'm making progression in my business and gaining momentum and moving my business forward. Then I go to my like page and I see, have I ignored that this week? Is this a slow week for me? Why? Oh, okay, I haven't invited anyone to check out my page. I'm not engaging. I haven't been posting. Then it reminds me, have I checked my like page messages? Then I go to Instagram and I track that. So every week I want that number or that amount or it to remind me to do something, so it's always on the front of my goal list. Then I do, under that, I try and do like 5 to 10 goals for the month, and I write them down every single Monday. Some people say you're not supposed to peek, but if it's an important goal to me, I try to remind myself, oh, what did I write? What was important to me? Because I still want to hit that. So every week I try and write down 5 to 10 new goals. And if I hit them, great. If I don't, I'm being reminded of it every Monday. And then I do yearly goals, so things that I want to do by the end of the year. And I write these in terms of I am and I have instead of I will or I hope or I want to be. It's just talking as if it's already happened. So then I do that. Then I go to, in that section, in my goals section, so it's kind of split into two, is my to-do list for every single day. So I have then my to-do list because I like to write them out every morning when I wake up. What are 6 things that I want to do today? And I write it down. And then I accompany that on the other side with my timeline for the day and pair up those things so that I'm getting them done in a sufficient manner. I'm not scrolling on Facebook. If I want to work for an hour, that's going to be from 12 to 1, and that's all I'm going to do. And that's really been working for me. So my to-do list goes in here, and if I have a bad week, if I have a great week, I go back and I look at the things that I wanted to do and actually did, and I can track it that way. Okay, next. Business activity tracker. This is everyone's like cringe-worthy, like 3 words because it's something that's so simple, but I wouldn't say no one does, but I know a lot of people that have every intention to fill these out and they just are lazy and don't. But when I started tracking these and filling this out is really when I saw a shift in my business because I would feel super productive one day. And then at the end of the day, this light is making it look like I have like a goatee. Anyway, okay, I'm just going to sit back here. So, what was I saying? Oh, I would feel super productive, but then I would look back and I would be like, I didn't talk to anyone today, or I didn't work on anything to help my business grow, or I didn't even read my personal development, or I didn't do my workout yet. So it's a great way to confirm your momentum. You might feel super productive and all you've been doing is answering messages all day, but you haven't done anything else. So Business Activity Tracker is second, and that's because it's super important. And after my goals and to-do list, it's kind of like, okay, this is everything that you want, and this is everything you're going to do or have done. Here shows if you're actually doing it. So this is like my confirmation. So Business Activity Tracker is number 2. Then is my Power Hour Tracker. And I haven't done much with this yet. Like I said, I only put this together like last week. But my Power Hour Tracker is, I'm still kind of testing the waters on how I want to do my Power Hour. But once I get a system down, I'm just going to stick to that. So whatever I'm doing during my Power Hour, it's all going to be right here. And then that way I have a place for names and ideas and just everything that I'm doing in my Power Hour goes third. So if I don't like it, then I can just make it a new tab. But so far that's what that's going to be. Contact list. That is huge. And this is something that I wish I started when I first started coaching, and I didn't. And I spent a couple weeks ago going through all of my messages, finding everyone who I've ever talked to that has had goals or nutrition or fitness goals or business goals or anything, and I write them all down, everybody, so that I always have someone to talk to and someone to follow up with, someone who, wanted to join as a coach 6 months ago. If I didn't write their name down, I wouldn't have thought to message them and say, hey, I just wanted to follow up with you and make sure that, this right now would be a good time for you or whatever. But just having their name down on paper, don't leave it to memory. I'm telling you, I've heard people say it so much, but I'm like, I have a great memory, or I could always just go back through my messages. Doesn't work, and you forget about people. So if you write them down, not only are you making their day by showing that you care enough to check in with them about their vacation or their wedding or following up with them 2 months later when they asked you to. Always write it down. So my contact list is pages. Like, I have people I've talked to, new people I've added that I want to, for certain reasons. And then I have a split line for my Instagram contacts. People that have asked me things about coaching, or asked me things about joining a group, or, hey, do you have any special recipes, or, whatever. I love following your page, or, people's pages who I have found interesting. I keep that separate. So this section is split into two. But why I love binders is I don't have to worry about making enough space on a notebook, and I know I'm going to look at this every day. So if I have more contacts that I want to add on my regular list, I can just stick another sheet of paper in there, but still have my Instagram contact list start whenever I want it to. And it can go on forever. So that section, contact list. Then notes. And this is something that really pushed me to make a binder, because I ran out of my notes section in my 5 subject, and I was doing notes on my computer or in Google Docs or the note section on my computer, and they're everywhere. So this is a great way for me to have everything, and I'm like, oh, I put them all in chronological order by date, so if I know I watched a team call or I was on the National Wake Up Call listening in, I know, okay, that was in January, so I look for in January, and I just check there. And everything goes one after another after another. So all my notes are in one spot. I can add as many pages as I want, and that is like one thing that I love about this. So notes section, my computer keeps dimming, but notes section already has the most pages. Then I have personal development book notes. And the reason that this is separate is because the first page I've made a list of books I've read and books I want to read. So I can add to it. I can stick another sheet in after if I want to keep reading more, add to the list, whatever. So the first page is that. And then the reason I have this as a separate section is because personal development is not only for my growth, but for things that I can share with my team on my team page. I can't avoid the sun. I keep moving back, but it's just like, I don't know where to go. But the reason this is separate is because when I read something, I want it to stick out, and I want to write it on here so that if it's something I can think of to add into a post or a quote that I want to add into one of my Instagram pictures. I think having quotes and topics or discussions or like specific things from your personal development, I think having that more obvious in its own section is really important. So the book that I'm reading now, Jab, 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 Right Hook, I have already 2 pages of notes from that book, and I can learn things from there and share it with my team and share it with my followers. So I want that to really stick out. Next is my one-on-one personally sponsored coach goals. So I have 1 page for everybody, which I'm not going to like show it too much because that's all private. That's their goals. I'm going to move my chair over because this is driving me nuts. It's not making a difference. Okay, well, that's fine. So, personal goals for my one-on-one PS coaches. I have 1 page for everybody because I want to make sure that I have their start date, when they've hit a certain goal, when they make a goal, when they want to hit the goal by, and just really cheer them on and make sure that I'm keeping track of that, because if they're setting a goal for themselves and I know and I'm aware when they hit it, I want to be able to like pat them on the back and congratulate them. So I make sure that I have all this stuff tracked out, and this is brand new, so if I've missed like your join date or your 1-year anniversary. I won't anymore because I have it all written out and I have no excuse. And then my last tab is team check-in. And this I started doing when I really wanted to keep track of my business and not be surprised or follow the progress, or if something was happening or I wanted to be aware of an issue. I wanted it to be somewhere that I could refer to. So in this section, the first page is Success Partners, because I want to make sure that all of my coaches are paired up with someone else that's compatible with them, that will help them push and will help them reach their goals. So that I want to make sure if I sign up a new coach who wants to work the business, and try and find someone who is compatible with them, and then I pair them up so I can keep track of who their success partners are. And then in the next section, behind that, I have my Monday team check. So every Monday I write down my goals, and then I go in my online office and I will check my downline. I check everyone who's my personally sponsored, and then I check theirs. And then I write down anything that's changed, people who have progressed in the business, so I can make sure that I congratulate them or that I'm not missing their achievement, because that's a big deal, so you want to recognize that. So keeping track of that, I think, is so important, and it's in the back along with my one-on-one personal PS coach goals, because that's more private and it's not something that I need to see every day. And then in the end folder, I have kind of like trackers of like to-do lists. So I have a few different ones that I've printed out that if I can fill out in the morning if I want to. But right now, picking a new sheet of paper and writing down my to-do list, or even splitting that in half and writing down my to-do list, has been really helpful. So, binder. Sounds complicated. It's not. I love it, and it has been way easier for me because I can have a scatterbrain, like I said, and still be super organized. I'm just gonna like sit up because I'm almost done, so I want to like avoid the sun. But yeah, I feel like it's something I've been wanting to do for months, but I'm like, I don't need a binder, like, that's way too complicated, but it's not. And if I'm on a team call and I think of a book I want to read, I can flip and write it down in my personal development section. Or if I'm on a national wake-up call, I can go to the notes section and just add another sheet of paper, and I don't have to worry about it. So, yes, it might kind of sound over the top, but honestly, this is something that I feel like has been a long time coming. Some of the things that I don't put in here that I still keep on like Google Docs are like training posts, challenge group stuff, all my links, all that stuff I have in Evernote, which I have some paper-ish stuff, and then I have digital things. But for all my tracking and everything like that I just explained to you, which I can just reiterate the sections. First one, goals and to-do lists, then business activity tracker, then power hour tracker, contact list, notes, personal development notes, one-on-one PS coach goals, and team check-in. And then that way, it's easy, it's there, it's organized. I don't lose anybody, I don't lose anything. I can have as many quick thought, awesome, epiphanies where I'm like, oh my God, like that's such a good idea, where do I put it? Grab a new sheet, write it down. Okay, if it's a note, if it's a book, if it's an idea, I just put it in the section that it belongs. So, maybe I'll update you guys in like 6 months and tell you how much I love my binder idea, which I hope is the case, but right now that works for me, so that's what I'm sticking to. So now if you were to ask me if I have a tracking system, I'm going to say yes, and this is what I think is going to work. And if this helps you at all, let me know, because I always wanted to have something that works for me that I can help work for other people who don't have a tracking system. So if you found this helpful, or you decided to do it and you love it, just let me know, because that will make me super excited. Because for once, I kind of found something that I feel like works, and there was no help, no guidance, no nothing. I just was like, I'm going to do what I think I need, and it works. So, but thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you guys.